Welcome to Cricket Happenings, dear friends and subscribers. Well, Sri Lanka, as expected, I would say, have taken the first test match 1-0 at the Galle cricket ground. They beat England by 75 runs today. Well, England put up a show, good show, where Jonathan Trott was the man who really, offered stiff resistance as far as England is concerned, and he scored 112 with 10-4. So that is something that England would really take from this match. They would be very happy that there is some person from the England team who has scored a century. So Jonathan Trott played very well. He handled the spinners very well, and it was a very dogged resistance from Jonathan Trott. Now, just looking at the card here, resuming at that overnight score that they had, England started with Kevin Pietersen and Jonathan Trott. Kevin Pietersen was the first to go today when he was caught by Mahela Jayawardene, bowled by Suraj Ranadive. Now, Suraj Ranadive, the right arm off spinner, this was a turning pitch. There was definitely lots of assistance for the spinners, but Suraj Ranadive on his learning curve, I would say, he proved an admirable and able foil to Rangana Herath, who was the man of the match today, actually getting a 12-wicket haul in this particular test match, and he was the key. 38 overs, 9 maidens, 97 runs and 6 wickets. So he had a 6-wicket bag in both the innings, which was absolutely great. Suraj Ranadive, the right arm off spinner, as I said, he's on his learning curve, and this would have given him a lots of confidence. He bowled 26 overs, 2 maidens, 74 runs and 4 wickets. He complementing Rangana Herath very well. Left arm and a right arm off spin combination there. Well, so Kevin Pietersen was the first to go today, out for 30, caught by Mahela Jayawardene for 30 with 4 boundaries. As I told you yesterday, so this was the key. Kevin Pietersen fell, so that was 118 for 3. Ian Bell came there, and Ian Bell was not looking the same Ian Bell that we saw in the first innings, but well, he contributed just 13 runs, and he was out on the sweep shot to Rangana Herath. He was gone for 13 with 1-4, and Jonathan Trott was the man who was still there. So that was the time when Ian Bell departed. It was 152 for 4, and according to me, Ian Bell staying there was absolutely important, as I told you, but that didn't happen. So Matt Pryor came in, and even though Ian Bell departed with the score on 152, the partnership that was going on between Jonathan Trott and Matt Pryor was something where it would have definitely given Sri Lanka a slight scare there, because Jonathan Trott and Matt Pryor started taking their time, and they were rotating the strike very well. They were taking the singles very well, with in between the odd boundary being hit of any of the loose balls that were bowled, and both of them had actually taken the score on to 233. And this was the time Rangana Herath came in and took the most vital wicket of Matt Pryor, and Matt Pryor was very unhappy, but it was a very good catch taken by Lairu Thiramane at forward short leg. As Matt Pryor was gone, caught Lairu Thiramane, bowled Rangana Herath for 41 with 3 fours, but Jonathan Trott continued his stiff resistance there, but later on it was a real procession, because 233 for 5, they still had around 107 runs to get, and if they had actually put their heads down, could have happened, but as said, it was not so easy. The ball was turning, it was a turning wicket, and Rangana Herath and Suraj Ranadive totally cleaned up the England team there, and that was the time when 31 runs and 6 wickets fell. From 152 for 4, England after 5 wickets, I would say 5 wickets, the next 5 wickets fell for just 31 runs, which was very sad. From 233 for 5 and Matt Pryor departed, England were all out for 264, thus giving Sri Lanka a very comfortable victory by 75 runs. Samit Patel was the one to follow. He was a victim of Rangana Herath for 9. That was the next wicket. And then Jonathan Trott himself fell, which was the real big blow for England. And that was something to say that the writing was on the wall. When Jonathan Trott fell, caught Tilakatne Dulshan both Suraj Ranadive for 112 with 10 fours. A very good effort on his part, but in vain. And after that, it was all over. Swan was LBW bowled Rangana herath for 1. James Anderson was Scott Prasanna Jayawardene bowled Suraj Underway 5. And Monty Panesar was the last man out, gone for a blob. Caught Tilgat Dilshan bowled Suraj Underway. Stuart Broad was still there, not out on 5. So if you look at the context of things, if Jonathan Trott had carried on and Stuart Broad was still there, not out on 5. Stuart Broad is, as you know, he's an all-rounder. So if he could have given some support, one could have hoped. Stuart Broad couldn't get any support. Even if Stuart Broad could have got support from the other end, probably Stuart Broad could have stroked a few, and also, if it had got some support from Graham Swan, James Anderson, it was not to happen, unfortunately, and England were all out for 264, giving a 1-0 series lead for Sri Lanka in this first test. The second test, I reckon, starts on 3rd of April. I still need to check my records. Bowling figures: Chanaka Velgadra 13 overs, 2 maidens, none for 40. Suranga Lakmal 10 overs, 5 maidens, none for 22. So I would say the seamers didn't have any role to play over here in the second innings. It was all the spinners. Ruled the roost. Rangana herath 6 for 97. Man of the match, Suraj Underway 4 for 74. Tilgat Dilshan bowled 12 overs, 1 maiden, none for 25. And thus ended the first test match at the Galle International Stadium here, with England losing the match with 75 runs and Sri Lanka taking a 1-0 series lead. So Sri Lanka have a head start, and what is more significant about this particular victory by Sri Lanka is that this is the first time that Sri Lanka has beaten any team at home without the presence of Muthaiya Muralidharan, the great bowler who retired. So that definitely says, as Mahela Jayawardene has already said, that Rangana herath is the go-to bowler for him, and he is the trump card for Sri Lanka now as far as this England-Sri Lanka series is concerned. So according to Mahela Jayawardene, Rangana herath has definitely taken the place of Muthaiya Muralidharan, but again, it's a long way to go for Rangana herath. And Suraj Underway is also doing very well, so he's another one who is to be watched up, and I feel he's a real talent there, Suraj Underway, red-arm spinner. Now, in fact, there have been 17 tests which has been played by Sri Lanka, as the stat says, and Sri Lanka has won just one test match. So that really speaks of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, I think, has to be really, really credited. They have been playing a lot of cricket these days. There's been a lot of overkill as far as test match is concerned, and I'm sure this team would be quite exhausted. And also keeping in view, two key players are not available. Angelo Matthews, a genuine all-rounder. Thisara Pereira, another upcoming genuine all-rounder, I could say. And both of them are missing. And if you look at that, I feel Sri Lanka should be credited. There's a lot of cricket that they have been playing nowadays, and they have not been getting any respite. So if you look at that, I would definitely give Sri Lanka credit for getting a victory over England, even though things have been like this. Yes, it would have been easy for them probably playing at home, but again, not to take any credit away from the way Sri Lankans played. Mahela Jayawardene's knock, even though Rangana herath took the man of the match, I would say this was a turning pitch and it was slightly tilted towards the bowlers. But as I said, Mahela Jayawardene's knock of 168 was, I suppose it played a great role, because even if Sri Lanka would have not reached 340, if Mahela Jayawardene would have not got the charmed life, 4 lives that he got, and he would have succumbed earlier, then probably the situation would have been different, and one would have had a different tale to tell in this first test. But Mahela Jayawardene's knock, according to me, was very, very crucial. 168. The spinners did a great job, but definitely there was some assistance for the spinners in the pitch, no doubt about that. Yes, England were guilty. England has to really go into introspection mode here as far as the next test match is concerned, because they need to really, really perk up their fielding. The fielding, as I said, 4 catches dropped of Mahela Jayawardene. The outfielding was not so good. They have to really, really improve on that aspect. That is very vital, and I'm sure the coach is going to sit with them and try to improve that aspect of theirs. Andrew Strauss, who has not been having a good time, I would say it's quite a long time since Andrew Strauss has really made something, played a substantial innings of note. So it is high time that Andrew Strauss comes into his groove there. Other than that, it was Ian Bell. It was good to see stroking very well in the first innings. Unfortunately, he couldn't do that in the second innings. I think yes, Sri Lanka definitely deserve the credit for doing what they did. They have to look at the changes that they have to make. Whether the bowling, well, the bowling has been good. Anderson bowled well. Stewart Broad bowled well without luck. The spinners did a good job. Monty Panesar has to really pick up his fielding because otherwise he could be a liability in the team. He has to definitely look into that. So all in all, it was a good match. But as I said, England have to go into introspection mode. For Sri Lanka, they have everything to cheer up because they have had a head start in this Test series between England and Sri Lanka, going 1-0. That's it from me, your host Ram, for the Cricket Happening show for today. See you all tomorrow. As far as tomorrow is concerned, well, there's the one key match coming up, so keep an eye there. It's going to be the one of 2020 international. Sri Lanka, India en route from the Asia Cup would be playing a solitary match, a 2020 international against South Africa, which would be led by Johan Botha over there. So keep an eye on that. So tomorrow is the one of 2020 international between India and South Africa, and that will be just before a lot of cricket coming up. The IPL is just beginning. That's going to happen in April. So there are a lot of cricket coming up, dear fans, friends and subscribers, and your host Ram is always there to give you match reports, summaries, previews, name it, and Ram is always there to cover all those things. That's it from me, your host Ram, for the cricket show for today. Pleasure bringing you this cricket show time and again. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.